Recently here on the Meet Snowball YouTube channel, we reached a massive milestone, and that is the 20 million subscriber mark. 20 million subscribers on this channel. That is so surreal. I understand that the YouTube sub count says 20,000. That is just YouTube trying to keep me humble and trying to keep me grounded. The actual number is 20 million, I promise you. I would never lie to you guys. The actual number is 20 million. And I thought to celebrate this amazing achievement, I should do a Q&A. For all my older people watching this, a Q&A means a question and answer. Okay, Grandpa? You ask me a question and I answer it. It's basically like we're going on a date. I'm taking my viewers out on a date. Except at the end of this date, there is no sex. Sorry guys, there's no sex, only questions and answers. But yeah, man, this should be really, really fun. We have a mix of football questions here, non-football questions, so you guys can obviously get to know me, because on a date, you want to get to know somebody. So you guys get to know me today a little bit more. And yeah, this should be extremely fun. If you guys like the shirt I'm wearing, it is Harry Potter. He's obviously playing Quidditch with a football, and he's wearing a cape and shit. It's a sick shirt, it's a sick design. I came up with this obviously on my own. If you guys like this shirt, if you like the other shirts that I've worn on this channel before, like the Ferran Torres twin shirt, this is my brand. It's called The Final Thread. It will be live sometime this week, if not next week. If you guys want to be notified for when we launch or for any discounts or any of that stuff, you can sign up down below. Your email, your phone number, whatever you guys want. If you don't want to sign up, if you just want me to tell you when we launch, I can do that as well. I'll let you guys know obviously when we're going to go live. Again, it should be either this week or early next week, hopefully, man. Nobody told me that building a fucking website was this hard, bro. I didn't realize. I just talk about football. I didn't realize that building a website was this hard. But yeah, super excited for this prize. If you guys are as well, then you can obviously sign up. If not, I'll let you guys know. But anyway, enough of the self-promo. Enough with all this bullshit. Let's actually get this date started. Start answering some of your great questions, because we have so many great questions here. I cannot wait to get into this. So let's go. Our first question in today's video is a football question, and it's, what's my first football heartbreak ever? That is a fantastic question. I can think of two. One was more painful, but the first time I remember my team losing and me being like kind of sad about it was back in the Copa America in 07. It took place in Venezuela. Venezuela in that tournament finished first in the group, and then they faced off against Uruguay in the quarterfinals, and they lost 4-1 in San Cristobal. They lost 4-1. Diego Forlan scored a brace in that game. Juan Arango scored for us. But anyway, that team, that wasn't really, like, I was sad about that, but I wasn't really that heartbroken because Venezuela had disappointed me so much in my life already to that point that I was used to it. The first time I ever really got sad, I remember being like genuinely sad over football, was that same year. It was December 23rd, so the day before Christmas Eve, 07. Barcelona played the El Clásico against Real Madrid in the Camp Nou, and Barcelona lost that game 1-0. And the goal was scored by Julio Baptista. A lot of you guys may not know who that is, but Julio Baptista was a player who played at Madrid. Before Madrid, he was at Sevilla. He went to Roma. He played for Cruzeiro. He played for Malaga. He was a decent striker, and he scored a goal in that game in the Camp Nou. And I remember that's one of my first few memories of watching Barca play, because I started watching Barca around 07, and I was heartbroken, man. I was so heartbroken because Barca lost on El Clásico. That was a Madrid team that had the kid with like the purple on it. Remember, it had the kid with like the purple. And actually, that same year, that same season, the second El Clásico, which took place at the Bernabeu in May, I went to that game. I went to that El Clásico. I went to Madrid. My friend invited me, Juan Pablo, shout out to you, man. We went from Venezuela to Madrid to watch that game. The only El Clásico I've ever been to was that game, and Barca lost that game 4-1. And if you watch the documentary, Take the Ball, Pass the Ball, it talks about Barca under Guardiola, or not under Guardiola, sorry, but Barca and like the history of Barcelona and all that shit. Xavi talks about how that was his worst moment as a professional. That game that Barca lost 4-1 against Madrid. And I was there at that stadium for that game, and I was distraught, man. I was distraught. I was a little kid. I was what, 7 years old, watching my team get fucking spanked by Real Madrid. It was actually 4-0, and then Henry scored a goal towards the end to make it 4-1. But I remember seeing Messi on the pitch, but it was just a heartbreak, man. But yeah, my first true, so I gave you guys a couple there. Sorry about that. You guys know I like to yap a lot. But my first actual football heartbreak was watching Julio Baptista score against Barcelona in the Camp Nou on December 23rd of 2007. I remember, bro, Christmas that year sucked because I wasn't even happy. I was like, oh, I just watched Barca lose. Fuck that. I was so mad, bro. I was actually so mad. I forget who played him in the past. I think maybe it was Guti. I forget who it was. But anyway, Madrid beat us twice that year in the El Clásico. Both times. One time I saw it in person. One time I obviously saw it on the TV. And both times it hurt a lot. But my first football heartbreak was definitely that one. And when I watched Julio Baptista score that goal, I still think about that goal sometimes. Our next question is, who is your favorite ever rival player? That is a fantastic question. And I think for me, the answer is pretty simple. There's a lot of Real Madrid players that I've enjoyed watching throughout the years, but the one that I enjoyed watching the most, and I actually started rooting for him once he left Madrid, was Marcelo. I loved Marcelo, bro. One of my favorite players of all time to not play for Barca is actually a rival player in Marcelo. I always enjoyed watching him play. I believe he's one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my life. I believe he's that. He was such a talent, bro. On the ball, he was magical to watch. That UCL run in 2016, 2017, he pissed me off with how good he was. He pissed me off with how good he was. And when Marcelo left Madrid and went to Fluminense, I actually rooted for him in that Copa Libertadores final. I was happy to see him lift that trophy because I could finally root for this guy once he left Madrid. I love Marcelo that much. Now, currently on this Madrid team, I would probably say Fede Valverde. I actually really like Fede Valverde as a player. I really enjoy watching Fede Valverde play. And again, I know it's taboo for Barca fans to say they enjoy watching a rival player. I don't really give a fuck, bro. I'm not 13 years old. I mean, it's a football player. You know what I mean? If I enjoy watching them, I enjoy watching them. Yeah, I'm not going to root for them because they were a kid that I don't like. They play for a team that I don't like, of course, but I enjoyed watching Marcelo throughout his whole career, and I enjoy watching Fede Valverde. Now, some other players in there, I really thought Sami Khedira was an extremely underrated and great player. I really like watching Sami play. And Mesut Ozil, man, I know two Germans right there, but Mesut Ozil, man, just a magician with the ball. It's kind of impossible to be a football fan and not be a fan of Mesut Ozil. The same way I think it's impossible to be a football fan and not be a fan of Marcelo, because both of those guys were so immensely talented. It's kind of like their talent just won you over every single time, no matter what kit they wore. So yeah, for me, man, my favorite ever rival player has to be Marcelo. If you ask me, my least favorite rival players ever, I would probably say Pepe for sure. I fucking hated Pepe so much, man. I hated Pepe so much. Dani Carvajal, he's one of the best right backs ever, but I don't like Dani whatsoever. He pisses me off. Casemiro, he was such a prick, bro. I hated him. I hated Casemiro. And Ronnie, bro, I'm sorry, he was really good. I didn't like watching him. I did not like Ronaldo at all. Okay, I can admit he's obviously one of the GOATs, the second best of all time, but I did not like Ronaldo at all. But you didn't even ask me that question. I just gave you a bonus there. Again, I love to yap, but yeah, those are my favorite ever rival players. Next up, we have our first non-football related question, and it's, why are you not a social media type of guy? How do you usually contact your friends and keep in touch? So, as you guys know, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, not really huge on social media. I mean, I have this YouTube channel, obviously I have a TikTok account. That's pretty much it. I had an X account and I deleted it. I'm not on Instagram. Why am I not a social media type of guy? Social media brings me nothing, bro. I get nothing from it. First of all, when it comes to pictures, I don't like getting my picture taken. And I know that sounds weird, but I don't like getting my picture taken. So I don't know what I would post on Instagram. And I don't want to be that guy who has no post, but it's just kind of like lingering around like a weirdo. I don't want to be that guy. So I just decided not to have Instagram at all. And also for me, man, and I'm not this Andrew Tate fucking Red Pill type of guy. Every single second of your day has to be productive. But for me, I don't believe every single second of your day has to be productive. But I do believe that you shouldn't do anything throughout your day that makes you feel worse about yourself or takes away energy from you. And I feel like every time I scroll on social media, it just leaves me so drained, bro. I don't like it. Like, it just like there's very few, it feels so dystopian to me in a way. Like the other day, like 2 days ago, or yesterday actually, I was on TikTok. If you guys saw my TikTok, I posted like 3 TikToks in a matter of like an hour, a record for me. I usually don't go on that app, but yesterday I started to post on TikTok again and I went crazy. And I'm scrolling through my For You page because I was bored. And I'm scrolling through the For You page, bro, and I don't know about you guys, maybe it's just my feed. It's so shit, man. It's all the same kids, all trying to sell you something. Look at this watch that I bought, and look at this car that I bought, and look how great my life is, and trying to make you feel bad about yourself so you buy their course, so you buy their shit. And it's just so stupid, bro. It's so stupid. I hate it. And if it's not that, it's brain rot content, which it's funny, you know what I mean? I'm not opposed to watching brain rot in the war room by myself with Tristan Tate. You know, that shit's funny at one point. But at some, like, it gets to a certain level where it just fries your brain. And then if it's not that, it's just baddies, bro. It's baddies on baddies on baddies, like tens after tens after tens. And again, that's not natural. You shouldn't be seeing that many hot women in a row doing like these fucking dances and stuff. It fries your brain, bro. Again, it's fun to obviously look at them, but it fries your brain, bro. It leaves it like social media does nothing for me in that sense. So I have my TikTok, I have this YouTube thing, obviously this YouTube thing, I have this YouTube channel. And in terms of how do I usually contact my friends, I just text them. I have their number. I've had their number since I was in middle school. I've had their number since I was in elementary school. I've had their number since I was in high school. So if I want to talk to my friends, I'll text them. That's it. That's pretty much it. I'll just text them, hey, how you doing, bro? You want to hang out? Hey, you want to go to do this? And they'll do the same for me. You know, I don't have to, yeah, you spent the summer in Ibiza. You can show me the pictures on your phone. Show me, what did you do? Okay, yeah, I don't have to see it through your Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So again, and by the way, whenever I give answers like this, people are probably going to think, oh, this guy thinks he's better than everybody. I promise you I'm not. This is mostly something that I do for my own mental health. Not because I think that I'm better than other people because I'm not on social media. Social media is a huge, bro, I'm literally on TikTok. That's how I got to the level where I'm at in YouTube because I started on TikTok. You know what I mean? So I'm like, social media has done wonders for me in my life to that extent. But when it comes to just like being on Instagram and scrolling mindlessly, it just leaves me so drained. I just don't like it at all. So for that reason, I'm not on social media. Maybe I'll make an Instagram at some point. I know it's for like for what I'm trying to do in my career here on YouTube. I should probably be more active on there so I can interact with my community, which, you know, that's something that's very important to me. But I don't know, man. I don't love Instagram, man. I just don't like it at all. And it's just, it gets to a point where it does more damage than good. So that's why I'm usually not a social media type of guy. But yeah, long answer there, but it's just the way that I feel. Our next question is actually 3 questions in one post, and we're going to answer all of them, of course. The first question we're going to answer is, which Messi was my personal favorite from 2009 to 2021? That's an easy answer for me, and it's always going to be Messi in 2019. Now, picking your favorite Messi season as a Barca fan, it's like picking your favorite child. I love them all. I love them all. I loved Messi in 2009, winning the treble in Rome and scoring that header in the final and losing a shoe. I love Messi in 2011, playing that game at Wembley where he just took over and he like one of the best performances I've ever seen in a final. I love Messi in 2013 before his injury where he's just taking over the world. I love Messi in 2015, that treble winning year. Messi in 2018 was a phenom. Messi in 2017 was fantastic. I mean, there's so many great versions of Messi, but for me, it's got to be 2019. What I saw from Messi in 2019 is something like I've never seen before from a football player, and it left me mesmerized because I realized that there are actually superheroes that play the sport. And his name, there's a superhero that plays the sport, and his name is Lionel Messi, and he wears number 10 for Barcelona. What he did in that season, I watched every single minute of every game he played. He never, like, I left every game speechless, bro. I left every single game speechless because he was so good. He was so fucking good. That to me will always be my favorite Messi. His combination of playmaking and goal scoring and just leadership as a whole. I understand that it ended poorly with that game at Anfield. It's still going to be my favorite Messi always. Maybe not the Messi that won the biggest trophies, but my personal favorite Messi, the one that I enjoyed watching the most. Maybe it's also because I was older, but I don't know. It's always going to be 2019. The next one is, which Barca team is your personal favorite? My personal favorite Barca team is the 2015 team with MSN and Lucho. I felt such a strong connection as a fan to that team because of MSN. I love watching, 3 South Americans up top taking over football. That's obviously, being from South America, that resonated with me a lot. And I just love that team, man. I love that team. I love that squad. I love Iniesta. Obviously, he was still great at the time. Rakitic was amazing. Busquets had a fantastic season. Xavi was older, but coming off the bench and still being productive. The back line wasn't Puyol and Piqué, but it was Mascherano and Piqué, who to me were great. Ter Stegen, who was actually still good, and Claudio Bravo, obviously in the league. Jordi Alba, Dani Alves. I love that team, bro. I really, really love that team. Obviously, we had Jeremy Mathieu, who scored in El Clásico, by the way. Never forget, Jeremy Mathieu scored in El Clásico. And we also had Vermaelen, which, he wasn't very good. But that team, man, the way that they ran through Europe in that UCL run, beating Man City, beating PSG, beating Bayern Munich, beating Juventus, beating the champions of every single league, obviously on their way to winning the UCL and winning the treble, that's always going to be my personal favorite Barca. But my second one might be this one. Might be this one from last season. Honestly, it might be. Like 2011-09 is, of course, in there too because those teams are so great. But it actually might be this past Barca that we saw with Hansi Flick. But that's, maybe I'm being prisoner of the moment there. And the next one is, was Messi in 2009 better than 2012? Messi in 2012 was better than Messi in 2009. Obviously, Messi in 2009 won the bigger trophies because he won the treble. He won every single possible trophy. Messi in 2012 only won the Copa del Rey, didn't win the UCL, of course, got knocked out by Chelsea. Madrid won the league that year. But Messi in 2012 was, I mean, look, I think Messi, look, my favorite Messi is 2019. You could argue Messi in 2012 is his peak. And when you're Messi and that's your peak, that means that's the greatest peak of any player ever. And Messi in 2012 was just a machine, bro. Just a fucking machine. He was better than Messi in 2009. Messi in 2009 was great, obviously playing that false nine in that system with Eto'o and Henry and Guardiola. But he wasn't as polished as he was in 2012. He was still great, but he wasn't as polished as he was in 2012. And in 2012, he was now, he had become like the cement. Like in 2009, people thought Messi was the best in the world, but also Ronaldo was in that conversation. In 2012, it was cemented. This guy's the best player in the world. And some people already thought he was the GOAT, including myself. So for me, I think Messi in 2012 was the better player. But again, it's normal because he was older. But yeah, if I had to pick, I would definitely say Messi in 2012. But yeah, those are really, really good questions, all of them, man. Our next question is, what languages do you speak? Obviously, a non-football question. I speak 3 languages, 2 of them fluently, like I could write a book in those languages, and then one of them, I can kind of defend myself. I speak, of course, English, hopefully fluently, and also Spanish. My first language is Spanish. And the one that I speak here and there is Arabic. Obviously, as a lot of you guys know, my nationality is from Venezuela, but my ethnicity is Syrian. I'm from the Middle East, and I speak Arabic. I grew up listening to my family speak Arabic. ما تحكي كتير بتحكي شوي. You know what I mean? Like I don't speak a lot, but I speak a little bit of it. You know what I mean? So if you drop me in Syria right now, I could probably find my way around. You know what I mean? Like I could find the nearest strip club, because that's probably what I would be doing, looking for. No, I'm kidding. But I could find my way around, is my point. You know what I mean? So Spanish, English, fluently, 100%, and then Arabic a little bit. Apart from that, I took Italian in middle school, and I took French in high school. Bro, I couldn't tell you a single fucking thing in that language, man. I did not pay attention to those classes. Look at me, man, Mr. Too Cool for school. I just really didn't give a fuck about those languages, so I never really bothered to learn them. I just did it for the credits. But yeah, Arabic, Spanish, and English. Those are the languages that I speak. Our next question comes courtesy of Noah, one of my OG subs. Shout out to you, Noah. And he says, what has been your favorite ever moment watching Venezuela play? That is a great question, bro, because my fandom is so yin and yang. Like, the two teams that I support could not be more opposite. Like, obviously at the club level, as you guys know, I support Barcelona, which in my lifetime watching them have been one of the best teams in Europe and one of the best teams in the world. Obviously, at Messi, had the greatest player ever. So me watching Barcelona has been a joy. For my lifetime, it's been a joy. Obviously, there's been ups and downs, but for the most part, it's been amazing. But then on the national team side, the country that I support is La Vino Tinto, of course, Venezuela. And Venezuela are the opposite of Barcelona, because we are one of the worst national teams ever. And that's not an exaggeration. We suck. And in my lifetime, we've been so shit. We've been so bad, man. We're the only nation in the history of Conmebol to now win the Copa America. The only nation, even Bolivia has a Copa America. Venezuela don't have a Copa America. Never qualified for a World Cup. Again, I believe we're the only nation in Conmebol. Maybe Bolivia has never qualified too, but I think we're the only nation in Conmebol to never qualify for a World Cup. It's been tough, bro. Like, recently it's gotten better. It's gotten better. This new crop of players are fucking amazing and I love them. But for my life, it's been really, really tough. But again, I live and die with Venezuela the same way that I live and die with Barcelona. So, like, if this question was asking me about Barca, I could pick so many moments, because I've had so many great moments watching Barca play. But for Venezuela, it's very, you gotta, like, I only have like a handful to choose from. But the most fun I ever had watching Venezuela play, the best moment I ever experienced watching my team play. And if you're a Venezuela fan, an older one, you obviously remember this. The Copa America in 2011 was magical, bro. It was magical. Honestly, it was. Like, Venezuela almost made the final of the Copa America in 2011. And the first game that comes to my head was that group stage game against Paraguay. The context for that game is this. Venezuela had to not lose to make it to the quarterfinals. Paraguay just had to win. So Venezuela, just don't lose. Draw or win, and you're going through. Paraguay, you must win. And we know that for Venezuela, it's a tall task to win a game. But anyway, they started off the game winning 1-0. Salomon Rondon, our greatest ever player, in my opinion, scores a goal 6 minutes in. We're happy. We're celebrating. I'm obviously living in Venezuela at the time. I'm a little jit. I'm going insanely happy. I'm crying, bro. I'm like, oh my God, we're making it to the quarterfinals. And then Paraguay scored 3 unanswered goals. We're down 3-1, and their last goal was scored in the 86th minute. And we're down 3-1, and at that point, I'm crying. It's over. We're going to get knocked out of the Copa America. And then in 7 minutes, Venezuela scored 2 goals to tie the game. Miku and Grendi Peroso. If you support La Vino Tinto, you know who those guys are. Both of them scored 2 goals. And the Grendi Peroso goal was so funny because it was a corner right at the end of the game. And Reni Vega, our keeper, he was our keeper for the longest time, that bald guy. He came up for the corner and he actually assisted the goal. It was a goal at the back post. He assisted the goal. And when that goal went in, I literally was in dreamland. I was in dreamland, bro. I was in dreamland. And then, you know what's funny? After that game, they played the quarterfinal against Chile. And that Chile team had Mauricio Isla, they had Gary Medel, they had obviously Alexis Sanchez, they had Arturo Vidal. That was a really, really good Chile team when they were still younger, and a lot of them in their prime. And Venezuela won that game 2-1, bro. We beat them 2-1. That was a Saturday. I'll never forget it, bro. Oswaldo Vizcarrondo, if you guys, obviously, that guy played for Nantes, I think. Nantes, yeah. Oswaldo played for Nantes for his whole career, so if you watch French football, you know who that is. But he basically was Cucurella, but much buffer and taller. Just long ass hair. He scored a header in the first half. And then Sichero scored the second goal. Chile actually ended up tying that game 1-1. And then Sichero scored a goal in like the 80th minute. Sichero, another La Vino Tinto legend. And Venezuela went through to the semifinals of the Copa America. That was the most fun I ever had watching Venezuela play. And I'm geeking right now. I get goosebumps talking about it because that was such a great moment for me as a young kid to watch La Vino Tinto make it this far, man. Like, I couldn't believe it, bro. Like, just beating Paraguay, the tying against Paraguay in the fashion that they did, and then going and beating Chile Chile, bro. Nobody gave us a chance in that game. But thank you, Vizcarrondo, fucking Tarzan, man. He scored that goal and those were good days, man. I geek talking about that shit because I really, it's being from there, being from Venezuela. There's a lot of obviously issues with that country, but I felt like, especially obviously at the time, still there was. But I felt like in that moment, the whole nation was like kind of united and rooting for the team because we had never seen the team make it that far. And they lost some penalties to Paraguay. Venezuela almost made the Copa America final. They almost made the Copa America final. They probably would have gotten spanked by Uruguay, but that was a great moment for me. So yeah, sorry for the geek for the yapping here, but that was probably my favorite. That was my favorite ever moment watching Venezuela play the Copa America in 2011 for sure. Our next question is: at which point would you consider going full time on YouTube, bro? Honestly, for the longest time, I never thought I was gonna go in full time on YouTube, just because. Here's the thing, and you guys might think I'm weird for this. I like to feel like I'm working for my money. Like, I like to suffer a little bit to make my money, and YouTube is not that. Like, making these videos, bro, it's too easy. It's too easy, and whatever comes fast, goes fast, man. Like, when I didn't make YouTube videos, I would just talk to myself about football. But now I'm fortunate enough that I have you guys to talk about it with, and obviously I make some money off this. I don't make insane money, but I make some money off this. But again, it just feels like I'm not working for it because I just love talking about football. So I actually like to feel like I'm working for my money. Like I said, I like to feel a little bit miserable when I'm making money because that will make me appreciate it more. And YouTube doesn't give me that. Just making videos will never give me that. Now, if this brand takes off that I'm starting, then I'll probably do that and this, because at least I'm running a business at that point. And running a business can be really stressful, man. Like, I just started this shit and I'm already I'm not stressed out, but bro, it's difficult. You gotta deal with suppliers and deal with this, and I love that, bro. I love the in and out, the daily thing. I like that. I could never just sit here and make videos all day, bro. Like, it's too boring. I need some spark in my life, man. I need something like that's why I like that. I don't love my job now, but I'm kind of good at it. So, and it's also like, it's about, resolving things. Like, I like that shit. So YouTube, if I ever get to Mr. Beast level, like if I just become like this insane YouTube phenom and I'm making like 100 million a month, fuck it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'll quit whatever. I'll just make YouTube videos and I'll go live in Thailand and, I don't know, be on the beach. And I'm not going to say the next part because you guys can already probably assume what I'm going to say, but I'll do that. But just making videos for me is just not fulfilling enough. I love it. Obviously, it fulfills me like when I say not fulfilling enough, I just mean like in terms of my aspirations, it's just too easy. You know what I mean? Like, I want to work for something else. So I'm going to make YouTube videos for as long as you guys watch them. That's another question that I got, by the way. How long do I plan on doing YouTube? As long as you guys are watching, I could be 80 years old, and as long as Barca's playing, I'm going to make these YouTube videos. Because I love this shit so much, man. I love coming on here and having a space to talk to people about the game with. I love building a community. I'm super passionate about that. But going full-time on YouTube, just making videos, probably never. But if this takes off and I could just quit my job and do YouTube and then also run this brand, 100% I'd do it. Because again, I'm running something. I have a brand. I have a business. I like that. But just YouTube, probably never. Our next question is, would you support Real Madrid for $1 million US? No. Look, $1 million is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. That's a fuckload of money. But I would not support Madrid for $1 million. I feel like I can make $1 million in my lifetime. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna just take that money to support Madrid. It's not in me, bro. I can't like. Football wouldn't be as fun if I rooted for Madrid. Even if I would be rich, it wouldn't be as fun, man. The fun about football is that you support these teams with no monetary gain. You're supporting a team just because you want to support them, not because you're getting anything from it. So if I got paid to support Madrid, yeah, I would have to pretend that I support Madrid. But again, it wouldn't be in me. It just like I would lose my love for the sport. And my love for football is worth more than $1 million. I know it sounds corny, but I promise you it's true. My love for the sport is worth more than $1 million. Now, if we're talking about a bill, like, okay, you're tripping, bro, because people are like, oh, you're not a real fan, bro. Fuck you. You know what? You know how much $1 billion is? You know how much? I don't know. You know how much fucking I don't know what that could buy you. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say. You know how much of anything it could buy you. You can literally buy anything with a bill. So for $1 billion, I'd think about it for sure, and I'd probably say yes. But for $1 million, no. My fandom is not worth. My fandom might not be worth it. Might be $1 billion. Like for $1 billion, I'd consider it. But for anything else less than a bill, I don't think I'd ever support Madrid. No, it's just not in me. Our next question is: if you could reasonably bring any player to Barcelona team, who would it be and why? That is a good question. Again, what do you mean by reasonably? Because, I mean, obviously we're talking about money, right? Because if money wasn't a thing, I'd say go buy Mbappe and bring him to Barca. Or go buy Bellingham and bring him to Barca. Or go buy Haaland and bring him to Barca. But obviously that's not reasonable. Two of those guys are rival players who would never come to Barca. And one of those guys is Haaland, who, Man City are never going to let him go. I think reasonable is honestly, I think Isak is reasonable. I think Isak is a reasonable striker option for Barca. I think this team would cook. We saw Lamine Yamal this season. put together such an insane year. And Lewandowski's a good striker, but let's be honest, he's not great anymore. He's not on the level of Isak. I don't care how many goals he scored. Eat my dick. Don't eat it. Suck it. I mean, don't do either of those, but eating your dick, I mean, suck my dick. Leave my dick alone. Isak is just a different level than Lewandowski. He's just a different level. So I would love to see Isak at the club. Reasonable for me is Isak. Now, if you're talking less money, Sesko or something. But he's going to Arsenal, I'm pretty sure. Anybody but Luis Diaz. How about that? Anybody but Luis Diaz to me would be reasonable. I think that Barca have the funds now. Obviously, they're doing better financially, or at least we think they are because of what Joan Laporta says to the media. I think that, a striker like Isak would change the club completely. I think it could set up Barca for the next 10 years to have a striker like that. If you have Lamine Yamal and Isak on your team, you're going to have one of the best tandems, or maybe the best tandem in Europe for the next 10 to 15 years. And that's a fact. So I would love to see Isak at the club. I would love to see it, man. That would bring me so much joy. Our next question is, with Inter in 2025 and PSG in 2024, where do those two European crash-out heartbreaks rank in your most painful European crash-outs for Barcelona? Number one for me is going to be Inter now. I said it in a video and I stick by it. I'll stick by this opinion forever. Inter to me was the most painful loss I ever suffered watching Barca play. Still not over it, and it's been over a month. But Inter to me was the most painful one. To me now, second would probably be Liverpool, but it's a close second. Third would probably be Rome, and then fourth I would put PSG. Just two back-to-back years where Barca, I think, definitely this year they had a real chance to make the final and win the final, in my opinion. And last year, bro, you beat PSG, which you were doing. It's not like we're making that up. They were beating PSG. You're playing Dortmund in the semifinal, which was a very winnable game. And then you're playing Madrid in the final. Again, would they have beaten that Madrid team? Probably not, because they lost them 3 times last season. So maybe we get embarrassed by Madrid and Wembley, but it's a UCL final. You take a chance. But for me, Inter is number one, man. I will never get over that game, because against Liverpool, I felt like after Gini Wijnaldum scored that goal in the first half, I felt like it was over already. Or was it Origi? I forget which one. But after they scored that goal in the first half, I honestly felt, even though it was still 3-1 in aggregate, I felt like the team was done. It was like a slow death. With Inter, I actually felt like after Rafinha scored that goal, we're going to Munich. Barca are going to Munich. And to see that hope be stripped out of us like that, and to see fucking Acerbi score that goal, and to see Fratesi then score that goal, and to see Araujo make mistake after mistake, and to see fucking Hector Ford, wannabe model, come out to the pitch and start shooting from 30 yards out because he wants to be a fucking hero, it pissed me off. It really, really pissed me off. But yeah. Definitely Inter is going to be number one for me. And then PSG, I'd probably say fourth. That really put me in a bad mood. I'm sorry. Our next question is, do you hate any club? I hate PSG. I really hate PSG. I don't like them at all. I'm sorry. I just don't like PSG whatsoever. It's hard for me to say hate, right? Because hate's a very strong word. I really dislike PSG. A lot. And it's their fans, a lot of their fans, not all of them, because they have great fans. Like every club has great fans. But I feel like a lot of their fans are extremely shitty. And I don't like the way they move as a club. Now, recently, obviously, they've been a lot better. Their signings have been smart. They're not just splashing money at shitty players. They move like a serious club, right? And, they won the UCL. So PSG fans, man, I give a fuck if I like them or hate them, because they're probably still celebrating the UCL win over Inter. But I think I'd probably hate PSG. Now, Madrid, people might say, do you hate Madrid? I don't really hate Madrid. I know that's kind of like every Barca fan should hate Madrid. I just root against Madrid and I dislike them as a club. But, I don't hate them. Hate is like I really have a strong dislike for them. And I have a dislike for Madrid, but, I have more of a dislike for PSG. Honestly, I do. Now, again, I don't love... People are going to take this shit and be like, oh my God, this guy loves Madrid. I don't like Madrid, okay? Obviously, I'm a Barca fan. Naturally, I don't like Madrid. But I don't like PSG more for some reason. There's something about PSG. You know that one kid in your class who you just fucking hate and you don't know why? You just fucking hate this kid. Maybe it's the way that he looks like you. Maybe it's the way that he laughs. There's something about this kid you fucking hate. But then there's another kid in your class who everybody hates, who you're supposed to hate, but you also kind of hate him, but you hate this kid more. That's how I feel about PSG. I just fucking hate this kid. I don't know why. And I'm not a violent, angry person, but sometimes there's this kid in your class that you just fucking hate. There was this kid in my PE class in 8th grade. Bro, we would have to do swimming, right? We would do swimming every Thursday. Every Thursday was swimming day. Bro, this fucking kid would... he would always wear a swimming shirt, and he wasn't fat, but it was the fucking goofiest swimming shirt you'd ever see. It had like designs and flowers on it and SpongeBob and shit. Like, bro, you're 14. We're in 8th grade. What the fuck are we doing here? Like, honestly, that just pissed me off for some reason. And again, the kid never did anything bad to me, but just the shirts that he wore pissed me off. I feel like Michael Jordan in The Last Dance. I took that personal. I really did. Terrible shirts, but yeah, I probably hate PSG. I don't know what that whole thing was. Our next question is top 5 male canon events. Losing your virginity as a man is just a historic moment. I know for me it was very memorable. If you know, you know. Not going to talk about that, but it definitely was very memorable. Breaking a girl's heart for the first time who didn't deserve it. You know, I think like every dude goes through that. Like you break a girl's heart and she was so nice to you and you just, because you weren't at a place you wanted to be in your life, and that just haunts you forever. I know it happened to me. Getting your heart broken happens to everybody. I never really had a tough heartbreak. Like I never had a heartbreak that left me fucking like dead for like a week or like 3 months or something. Like, but I've had heartbreaks, which, you know, I think like a lot of guys go through that. Getting a boner at a random time, you know what I mean? Like just the first time you ever get a boner, like watching Megan Fox and Transformers, you're like, what the fuck is this? That's a huge male canon event. What's another one? Realizing that you're not that special, you know what I mean? When you're young, you feel like everybody loves you so much and you're this special person. And then you grow up and you realize that as a dude, you know, a lot of the shit that you do is gonna go unnoticed, and that's fine because, you know, we're men and we're supposed to deal with it. So I think that's another. I think those are like my. Was that 5 or was that 4? I don't know how many that was, but those are my biggest male canon events. I can probably think of another one. I don't know. Oh, losing your father as well, which obviously a lot of us have experienced before. Like you lose your father, and that's a moment that, you know, you realize that male figure in your life. I mean, obviously, I'm saying if you grew up with a father, maybe some people grew up without a father, which is, again, you kind of were born into that canon event. But for us that had a father and lost them, you know, that's kind of part of it too. But yeah, I would say those are my top 5. Definitely, you have to put in there losing a father, because I know at least when it happened to me, I was just like, it was like, holy shit, this person who was like my rock and he was like my hero, they're no longer here. So I would probably say those 5. Our next question is, who's a smaller team that you have a soft spot for? For example, a team like Rayo Vallecano or Como. My team will always be West Brom. Because obviously being a Venezuela fan, one of my favorite players ever, Salomon Rondon. He's my second favorite player of all time after Messi. I could argue I wouldn't say he's my first. I love Messi too much, but Salomon Rondon is in my Mount Rushmore favorite players ever. And I used to watch West Brom week in and week out. That team with Nasser Chadli and Darren Fletcher and Ben Foster and Rondon, and you know, he was teammates with Johnny Evans at one point too. I used to watch West Brom religiously, bro. Religiously. Maybe not every game like Barca, but if they were playing and I was free, I'm watching West Brom because I wanted to see Salomon Rondon. So one team that I definitely have a soft spot for is them, because again, Rondon was just so close to my heart as a Venezuela fan and a Vino Tinto fan that I could just not miss his games. So I would say that team for sure. West Brom, man. West Brom was a team that I used to watch a lot. And I'm not ashamed to admit that at all. A couple more here before we finish off the video. What video are you most proud of? That's a great question, because I've posted over 350 videos, I believe, on this channel. So that's a lot of videos. But the one that I'm most proud of, I made a video talking about European giants and putting them in a tier list. Not this one that I made recently. Like I put like historically. And I love that video because I was able to showcase my knowledge of every single team. You know, I'm not just a Liga merchant. I'm not just a Barcelona merchant. I could talk about all the big teams, whether they play in the Dutch league or the Italian league. And I was able to showcase my knowledge of their players and their trophies that they've won. You know, I was super proud of that video because it took a lot of time to make. And I love that video so much, man. It was, when I finished recording that video, it felt like I accomplished something. I was super proud of it. So yeah, for me, I would definitely say that video where I ranked European giants and put them in a tier list historically, I was super proud of that video. I still am to this day. My favorite video I've ever filmed was that one for sure. And our final question in today's Q&A is the most liked question in the community tab post, which is, what is your body count? Obviously, I'm not going to answer that because I'm not an insecure douche who's going to sit here and try and brag to a bunch of people about how many people they've slept with. Whether it's a high number, whether it's a low number, I just want to say this. Not to be like the mature guy here because, oh, wow, bro, you're so cool. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I just want to say this. If you guys watch any content creators and they make a whole point about what their body count is and how high it is and all this shit, you're watching a cornball. I just want to let you guys know that. You're watching a cornball. I know you guys call me Unk, so some Unk advice here. You're watching a cornball if anybody talks about their body count publicly online. And if it's really, really high and they act like they're the man, you know, we know there's a lot of guys in that space, you know, the red pill space that act like, oh my God, look at me. I'm so cool because I've slept with 2,000 girls. You're a walking STD, my brother. You're a walking STD. You're fucking disgusting. And if there's anybody that's like, oh yeah, I only slept with this many because I want to save myself for this and that, you know, like you're doing too much. You know what I mean? But for me, I would never publicize this online. I'm a very private person already. And I would never talk about that, but again, not to be a douche, like, oh, I'm teaching you guys a lesson here, but like, did you guys actually think I was going to answer what my body count is? You actually thought I was going to sit here and be like, oh, it's this number, you're tripping. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all the questions. I hope you guys like this video. Obviously, you got to know more about me personally, and you got to know more about my football opinions, so I hope you guys like that. I appreciate every single one of you guys that submitted a question. We had like over 270 responses to that community tab post. A lot of questions you guys asked, so Hopefully I got to as many, I obviously got to as many of them as possible without this video being extremely long. If your question was not answered, then I'm sorry, but we'll probably do more of these in the future. But yeah, man, I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.